technologies to Freddie Wong, there's no need for convoluted
Freddie Wong.
rocket jumping in Overwatch. And the great thing is that this increased mobility means Overwatch's characters are much better equipped to use more of the levels, explore the verticality of those levels, and try out different strategies that TF2's more limited characters just don't have open to them.
If we're gonna debate between the mobility of each hero's abilities with TF2's weapons, apples and oranges, I guess.
You know what isn't open in Overwatch? Community servers. And that means that the community won't be as active within the game, which is a total bummer. Unlike in TF2, overhypers, excuse me, overwatchers won't be creating their own unique modes, skins, hosting their own events on their own servers. They can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, so TF2, they have their own server browser, which allows you to just join in any games. You don't have to wait for finding a game unless you go to casual mode or competitive mode, which that's the different side of finding a game.
And we know just how much the community has done for TF2 over all these years. This game was a meme machine.
Meme
Think you can
machine.
beat that?
Meme machine. That's TF2 is more than just a meme machine. It became the base of the to me it's the initial base of what became of a lot of games, like what's that one game, Monday Combat, it was similar to TF2-ish, but it was like mobile-ish. Monday Combat Monday, I can't remember, but yeah, now you see a lot of things pop up that's quite similar to TF2, especially with the drawing style. It's more comic-y, more cartoony, like Battleborn, and then I think a new one that came out, Lawbreaker. I don't know, I've never played Lawbreaker, so I probably wrong about that. And then of course there's Overwatch.
Nope.
Again, it may be coming, and I wouldn't doubt the strength of the Overwatch community either, my friend. Cosplayers are out in force already. Blizzard is actively policing porn of these characters that's been popping up online. Not that I would know from any sort of personal experience.
Oh yeah, Matt, don't worry about it. We're not gonna change the search.
There's Overwatch. There's the community. Overwatch community is much more than Overwatch cosplays and Overwatch porn. There has been a lot of Overwatch comics actually, and one of my favorite one is Reapfield. It's basically Garfield. It's basically Garfield that looks like Reaper, and John Arbuckle is Soldier 76. But yes, there has been also animations for it and drawings. So there's a lot of things that the Overwatch community has been making, and it's a start, and it's just gonna grow.
Or anything like that.
I read about it. Swear.
By the way, most of that stuff made in Source Filmmaker.
Source
Don't
Filmmaker.
distract me with titillating tidbits. Before we get away from the whole map issue, let's say you don't like a certain map, one of the 12 that there are. If that map comes up in matchmaking, you're stuck playing it.
You're pretty much
Outside of
stuck.
leaving it or convincing your whole team to try and exit with you, you're gonna have to play it twice, in fact. Team Fortress 2 on.
You as long you can leave. Okay, let's just clarify how it works in Overwatch. As long as you don't leave the game, or you can leave the game once if your team or the other team shows defeat or victory, you can leave after that. You don't have to play the game twice, because normally when you play one of those payload maps or capture points, there's the attack and defend, and once one round ends, you kind of swap. You can just leave. So as long as you do that, you don't get penalized for it.
On the other hand, uses a server system on the PC. These servers are hosting specific maps and modes, or rotations of maps and modes, and players can join
rotation.
whichever ones that they want. That way, they can find any set of
Yeah, so there's dedicated servers with rotation maps as well as voting, so you can vote for maps as well.
servers that they really enjoy, stick around for as long as they'd like, and move to a different server whenever they feel like doing something else. On top of that, TF2 just has more modes to pick from. That includes Team Deathmatch, Capture the
Team Deathmatch. I can't believe he said that. Team Deathmatch. There's no Team Deathmatch unless you count Arena. He never mentioned Arena. That was. I think he saw Arena, but he just said Team Deathmatch. Okay.
Flag and a PvE Horde mode in Man vs. Machine. With this server system,
Horde mode.
there's just more on offer for a more robust.
Is Horde mode like the generalization of that particular mode for any first-person shooter? Horde mode, like the Gears of War Horde mode, and then there's like the Call of Duty zombie mode. You consider that, I guess, Horde mode. That makes sense. But yeah, okay.
Game. With customization,
There are tons of different ways to play. I get it, that's your big argument. But here's the thing. Though you can't customize loadouts just yet,
Can't customize loadout just yet, but Jeff Kaplan just announced that they're looking into able to customize, not really customize loadout. No. Sorry. Let me rephrase. You're able to change your loadout during in-game rather than before and after the game.
Overwatch's emphasis on characters countering other characters means that it's going to stay fun for a whole lot longer. Because the
Well, that's the reason why also TF2 has been fun for a whole lot longer, because there has been also counter classes as well as counter weapons.
core mechanic of the game is getting good with multiple characters and switching when the situation demands it. Need to stop some turret fire? Well, just call in Winston. Want to get vertical for a while? Call in Farah.
Turret fire. Would you want Winston to go against a turret fire? You mean like Bastion? I don't know. Bastion's gonna murderize you if you're Winston.
And even within a particular class, there's a lot of variety. Just look at the differences between Mercy and Lucio. Both are healers, but do the job in different ways.
Yes, there's definitely a lot of variety of healers, but what makes TF2 unique is each class has a specific role. Correct? There's Mercy and Lucio. They don't really have specific roles. They're mainly healers, I guess. I guess they have like sub-specific roles, just because, like, Mercy can resurrect, and while Lucio can provide speed. But pretty much medic in TF2 is the all-in-one support class. Well, no, not really support class. Healer class in TF2, and what makes him a diverse subclass is from the weapons he has. With the different medic guns, he can provide healing or additional damage the way Mercy has, and with one of medics, I think it was called the Amputator, he can do a AoE healing just like how Lucio does it.
If you want hardcore focused healing, then you clearly go with Mercy. If you want less healing output, but you want to get as many people as quickly as possible, well, that's when you hit up Lucio. Our Overwatch...
Yeah, medics Amputator is not something you would want to try to use, like, a lot. It just doesn't work that way for TF2.
Watches heroes a bit more rigid in their playstyles? Admittedly, yes they are. But there are currently 22 characters in Overwatch, with more on the way compared to your 9.
More on the way. So far, we've heard about Ana, she was released not too long ago, and then there's Sombra. So what MatPat is hoping for is more future updates, which of course we at least for the next year or so, we're definitely gonna see more content for Blizzard. But we'll see how far it goes. Can they last for the next 9 years like TF2? So that's where we'll see how far it can get.
And the constant need to hop between them more than makes up for the fewer game modes and less flexible characters. And it's also important to note that none of them are a clone. We don't have any Links, Young Links, and Toon Links here, ladies and gentlemen.
Links, Young Links, yes. No clones from Overwatch. Same goes for TF2. There's no clone whatsoever.
Each and every character feels unique. You want to play as a female Russian bodybuilder? Well, guess what? You can. You want to play as a Japanese cyborg ninja? Well,
Japanese cyborg ninja. Woof. Can't get that in TF2.
guess what? You can. Plus, in a time when gamers are more accepting than ever to play different characters, Overwatch embraces diversity.
I don't know why that's an issue in the diversity of, I don't know, heroes or ethnicity, but as long as, you know, they don't play similarly like two of Tracers, I guess that's fine.
Well, the characters in TF2 may be from all across the world, outside of the Demo Man and maybe the Pyro. They're all white males. Overwatch.
Yes. TF2 is a diverse of white males besides the Demo Man and the Pyro. But beyond that, their ethnicity or their nationality is pretty diverse.
Though literally has a grandmother who snipes medicine into your body. That is equal opportunity, ladies and gentlemen.
I have to agree with MatPat here. Says that diversity, there's a lot more diversity in Overwatch, but if we're gonna go based on, I don't know, the color of the skin, yes, Overwatch has a better diversity. You know, we got a blue skin French woman. We got a cyborg, so he has metal skin, half regular skin. Oh, and we got a furry. We have Harambe, Winston with his black fur, black hair. Yeah, the diversity in skin wise, yeah, it's much bigger than TF2. And look at, let's say, yeah, Zenyatta and Bastion. Yeah, they have no skin. They have metal skin. They're robots, which is pretty awesome. And there's Reaper. I don't know. He has ghost transparent skin. Who knows?
Lastly, let's face it, but ult moves are a ton of fun.
Sure, but as fun as it may be to wreck shop.
I like ultimates. Ultimates makes it very satisfying when you execute it correctly.
With Reaper's Death Blossom, there's always going to be a Widowmaker with Infrasight or someone else ready to counter it. More characters, more abilities means more opportunities to mess up the balance. And you see it already with tiering lists.
Okay, balancing of new heroes, new weapons between Overwatch and TF2. That's just something they have to deal with as developers, and with the help of both communities, they're able to continue balancing the game. It doesn't matter which is more balanced; it's just placed differently.
In competitive play, tanks are just too OP right now. Reinhardt, Zarya,
this is just a weak argument on balancing issues. That's Blizzard is good at, you know, maintaining their games and keeping it updated. You know, they always put out patches, so the balancing argument, I don't think that's a way to do it.
D.Va, Roadhog,
D.Va.
all four of these tanks, all four dominate
D.Va
the
is
top
so
tiers in competitive play. I mean, how often
not OP.
have you started the game, gone up against the opposing team, and seen that they have 3 Roadhogs? What else do you do other than sigh, groan, and face roll the keyboard? It's not fun. TF2.
Well, you know, if you have 3 Roadhogs, go with what counters them, and if you can't counter them, it's because, you know, if you're the only player that's trying to counter them, you can't do anything about it. Your whole team has to somehow adapt to those 3 Roadhogs in a way to help push or win the game.
TF2's modest roster of 9 might not be hundreds deep like other popular franchises such as League of Legends, but it's a finely honed stable of characters which offer a fair, consistent gameplay experience.
You say TF2 is more balanced, and yet Overwatch's smaller team size per match allows for more strategically constructed teams compared to the massive battles of TF2.
Okay. This doesn't seem like MatPat knows about the competitive side of TF2, which they announced it not too long ago, where it's there's six. It's a 6 versus 6 format, which is similar to Overwatch.
With too many players on the field, it just becomes bedlam. But with Overwatch's team sitting at 6v6, it makes each player's character choice matter. And speaking of skill, the need to master not just one character, but multiple characters in order to be successful in this game means that it has a higher potential skill ceiling for the hardest of hard.
Higher potential skill ceiling. Oh my gosh. I've been playing TF2 since Orange Box came out, and I put in 3,000 hours, and I'm still horrible in the meta classes. Soldier, demo, man, they take hours, probably years to master them, and it's just crazy how a lot of TF2 pros can do it. As for Overwatch, there is a skill ceiling for it, but I don't. To me, my honest opinion, knowing both games that have been played more than at least 10 hours. I think I have more than that, 100 hours of Overwatch, and I think, in my opinion, TF2 has a higher skill ceiling. Yeah.
Hardcore players. And let's not forget as well, Overwatch simply looks and runs better. Team Fortress is a decade old, which...
The argument between a 9-year-old game and how Overwatch is, it's of course, Overwatch looks a lot better, and years later, for the past 9 years, TF2 has been using Source engine, which it's definitely outdated, and we're hoping to see a better, much more newer engine, hopefully in the next year or so, with Source 2.
Which makes it really hard to compete.
You say old, I say tried and true. Team Fortress 2 was built on Valve's Source engine, reliable and flexible, and its cartoonish graphical style has ensured that its look has aged very well, at least when compared to things like BioShock 1's Andrew Ryan and Uncharted 1's Nathan Drake, both games that were released the same year as Team Fortress 2.
Same year, huh? Feeling old.
And you're about to feel like a loser. Closing arguments.
Closing
Team
argument.
Fortress 2 may be a team-based shooter, but the individual players on the team have always been of the utmost importance, meaning that they can customize their appearance, they can customize their loadout,
him again.
they can customize their gameplay. In Overwatch, if you're grouped up with a team who doesn't know what they're doing or who refuse to communicate, you may in fact lose through no fault of your own. Overwatch takes power away from the skilled players who in games like TF2 could rightfully carry a match. And that's just not fun. Considering all that in mind, most of all, vote for the original, the art style, the team-based gameplay design.
Yeah, the way he portrayed TF2 as being the true of the two, the original, that's not the best way to upvote for it.
The characters like Torbjorn and Tracer, who are very similar to the Engineer and the Scout,
Quite similar.
using comics and animated shorts to deliver characterization and lore in a very similar fashion to which TF2 used comics and their Meet the Team series.
I gotta agree with him. The way how Overwatch has been portraying themselves using comics, lore videos, it's I would say it's inspired by TF2, and that's what makes made TF2 very approachable, and with all these things that comes out from TF2, it's what Overwatch it's also doing the same. Keeping each of the heroes interesting in a way, and hopefully more heroes will come and find ways to make it better for Overwatch.
Years before. In so many ways, Team Fortress 2 stood on its own 9 years ago, and it stands on its own today, while Overwatch seems to have borrowed quite a bit from the successes of its predecessors. Oh, and also, TF2 is free.
Sure.
TF2 is free. TF2 is free. TF2 is free, but you should get the premium version. You can just buy one weapon, which was like 50 cents, and you get the whole game. 50 cents to get a premium game, the whole game, versus $60 game on Overwatch. They're both awesome.
Overwatch may have borrowed from TF2, but it's not like it's hiding that fact. Overwatch is a love letter to all of gaming. Soldier 76 is straight out of Call of Duty.
Soldier 76.
Farah's Metroid.
Titanfall.
To me, these sorts of
Farah
references just
is
make the game
Metroid.
more fun. And now
Cosmetic
couple that
wise.
humor with mechanics that actually reward you for smart team-based combat, matches where you must consistently jump across multiple characters and classes, and fixed teams where you're not going to be
You can do that in TF2 as well. Change heroes, change classes during in-game.
thrown onto the enemy side if someone suddenly decides to leave, and you have yourself a game that's accessible enough for beginners, but sophisticated enough to be competitive on the esports level.
Sophisticated
Plus,
enough.
there's no ammo boxes, which to me is always a big perk.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how different Overwatch will be if there's ammo boxes. Imagine Bastion running out of ammo. He has to change his location, or he has to get out of his position to find things. Pretty much all of the heroes has to find a way to gather ammo.
And best of all, the game is literally only 2 months old, meaning that it's only going to continue to refine itself and improve as the roster expands, play modes broaden, and maps begin to roll out. The biggest advantage Team Fortress had in this debate was the extra time that it's had to grow and evolve. But there's little doubt that it's now time for that torch to be passed. Overwatch is quite frankly the TF2 of the next generation of gaming, the very beginning of something incredibly special.
Well, we'll see the next 9 years if it still Overwatch is the new TF2.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet,
okay.
we have reached...
All right. That's it. That's all I could take. But hopefully this helped you guys to know learn more between Overwatch and TF2, more information from what they've said, and hopefully provide some educational points of what makes both games awesome. And I love both games. They're similar and different at the same time, and it's one of my 2 favorite games as of now. All right, I'll see you guys later. Sirfut out.